Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with the timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Five of Wands. Five of Wands is giving the feeling that you're working on something. See how the people in this card kind of look like they're working? I almost get this energy of conferring with one another about something. Like how they're all holding this in common, and in order to do a single job all together, like everyone sort of needs to be on the same page. That's what I'm getting from this. So something is actively being worked on, worked through, figured out right now. Once everybody agrees, I'm seeing there be a big green light here. This feels too like if there is agreeance on how to do this, and it feels like there are different ways that this can be done, but the total agreement is what's important, then things can move. So something that's being done, everybody needs to be in agreement, but this is feeling like there are multiple different ways that it can be decided to be done. And no matter which way is chosen, you're still going to get to where you're trying to go. The important thing with this card is about the agreement of it. This feels like there's flexibility within the options of what's agreed upon, as long as everybody's on the same page, and then you can get to where you're trying to go here with this. And Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, that is a card of collaboration. So I feel like this is just confirmed what's being seen within the cards. With when you look at Three of Pentacles, you see how there's again a single thing that is being held together, but there are hands over here, there are hands over here, there are hands here. So it's like everybody, multiple hands working on the same thing, everybody needing to even do their own part. And that can also be something that's being agreed upon or being worked out. Because this feels kind of like a group effort here. Things are going to go where you want them to go. We are going into the Nine of Cups. Eight of Wands is about where you're going. So traveling, when you get to here, what is that going to look like? It's going to look like the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a place where this is essentially where one wants to be. What one was hoping for. The Three of Pentacles has come out. I'm also seeing Six of Swords here. Okay. So we have Nine of Wands, we have Three of Pentacles, and we have Six of Swords. When we have Nine of Wands, this is about the effort that we put in when we are very close to accomplishing something, but it is still just as difficult. It kind of feels like until you get to the top of this, it's going to be the same amount of, like, it'll be just as steep, if not more steep, the closer that you get to the top, but being very far along the way here and needing to keep going. This card is also a card of determination, and it's also a card of willingness, because I see the Wands as being, when we get to that point where we can feel tired, or we can feel exhausted, or we can question, do I want to give up right now, or do I want to keep trying to do this even though it's really difficult? Really, what's going to have you accomplish it versus not is deciding to stick with that thing. And you can find too that collaboration is what allows this to flourish. Collaboration can be the difficult thing, collaboration can also be the answer and the key as well. So it can be challenging to get on the same page and to work together and to learn from this. Simultaneously, that can be the answer to having everything come together. And for things to move forward. Like, collaboration is necessary in order for things to move forward. And without that, you can feel like there's nowhere to go. When we have Nine of Wands, that card of, this is getting really difficult. I'm feeling very tired. I've given so much to this. Do I want to let go and fall backwards and land where I will, or do I want to keep fighting for this? Having that be connected with Nine of Cups shows that if this is something that you want badly enough, and Nine of Cups does indicate that you do, it's something worth putting in this amount of effort for. Because Nine of Cups is that thing that you want so badly, not on a surface level. This is a deep, when I get to that point, there will actually be a sense of fulfillment within that. This isn't just a, I think that I want that, or I think that that's going to make me happy, and I'm in the Seven of Cups here. This is more so, I know within my soul that this is something that resonates with me, and this is something that aligns, and it's worth it to me to do this. This is worth it to me to do this. It's worth the time, it's worth the figuring out, it's worth the energy, it's worth the patience, it's worth the balancing, it's worth the learning. It's worth the difficult growth. Because this is ultimately, feels like your excitement, your passion, which is what you're going to be forging ahead with. I'm seeing Page of Wands, which shows there being a readiness, an aptitude, and also a willingness to do what needs to be done to walk the path, because you know this is where you want to be. Oh, agrees. I also feel too like there's a little bit of a transition with Page of Wands going into Knight of Wands. Page of Wands is when something really catches your attention in a way that feels like there's something there, and I'm really curious about that, or I feel really drawn or very pulled in that direction. And so there's an excitement like all around within the energy for you to be somewhere, be doing something or pursuing something, or to be participating within something. And then having it transition from Page of Wands to, so I'm inspired to do something, Page of Wands into Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is feeling like, now what about when you're challenged? What about when you're being asked to be brave or to be courageous or to really put your energy into it or to forge ahead? What then? Is it still worth it to you then? Are you willing to channel that energy? Because Knight of Wands, it comes with there being an implied challenge. And that is why it's important and necessary to step into, to channel the energy of the Knight of Wands. But this feels like a Knight of Wands that everybody needs to be on that horse sort of going the same speed. This can't be Knight of Wands, things being really chaotic and everybody going in different directions and crashing into each other. This is more so like we're going to be stronger together and we're going to be able to accomplish this if we're doing it together. And so it feels like there is this necessity for kind of this moving in step with one another here. Okay. So before, how I was saying that when you have the Knight of Wands, it generally implies there being a challenge. I'm seeing Nine of Swords come out after Nine of Wands. So this is that's calling to me. I want to be there. I'm excited about this. So you're traveling on the path. Then this is I need to be ready to face some sort of challenge here, even though this can feel very terrifying for me. So Knight of Wands is the part of you that's brave. It's the part of you that's focused. It's the part of you that's willing to take on the adventure. You're not going to back down. This is something that you want. You're going to see how it goes, to give yourself a chance. It's kind of even like you challenging yourself. And it feels like on a mental level, because when we have the Nine of Swords, this is stuff that can mentally, there can be barriers that we're moving through. This can bring up some really big fears for us. This can be the stuff that you feel like, I know that I want to be here, and I know that I need to channel the energy of the Knight of Wands in order to do this. And when I'm doing this, you can be facing big fears that you have. You can be facing really big anxieties that you have. You're basically saying that you're willing to work with your fear on some level, but that it is worth it to you, and you're willing because you know that this is where you want to be and what you want to be doing. As terrifying as that can be. And you can know too, when we have the Knight of Wands here, it's kind of a context clue of there will be a challenge, and you are going to have to push forward with something and be brave and be self-guiding through this process. Or you're going to see the Nine of Swords and you're going to turn around and run in the opposite direction because it feels like it's too much. But ultimately, this is going to be that meeting of, it feels like your fire energy and your air energy sort of working with one another, where they meet one another, especially when it comes to your more shadow air energy, which is like the fear, the thoughts, being tuned to that channel. So when you sort of come up to those blocks that you have mentally within your belief systems, within your assumptions, within your thoughts, is your passion going to be able to override that? Is your willingness, because your fire energy is your life force, it's like, is your life force stronger than your fear? Is your willingness stronger than your fear here? Is this something that you're willing to work with? Seeing this be taking a bit of a toll on you right now, that is the feeling. Okay, over top of the Nine of Swords is the Four of Swords, just landing right on top of it. What this feels like to me is that when you're going through a time when you can feel like it's very overwhelming to be experiencing the mental narrative, and even the way that your body is impacted by it, because air energy, specifically Aquarius, it is connected with your nervous system. The stuff that's going on in your head like really can affect you physically. And so there's going to be that physical manifestation, that experience of what's going on here and how that's being felt all throughout your body, and how that impacts your mood and your interactions and how you're feeling and your sense of safety and groundedness. When we have Four of Swords going over it, this is about whatever tactics, whatever methods you use to ground your energy. What do you do to regulate? Are you meditating? Are you doing breath work? Are you stretching? Are you writing it out? Are you listening to music? Are you doing some sort of movement? What are you doing when you feel like you get to that point where things get very heightened for you, to bring yourself back into a safe space? From going to like the abyss and feeling like you're in the middle of some type of nightmare and nothing is going to be okay, and just the extreme of that, all the way back to how do you go from there and travel all the way back to a centered space within yourself? How do you cultivate that type of inner landscape, especially when you travel very far away from it? When you find yourself very far away from it, how do you get back? How do you reconnect with yourself? How do you reconnect with the love? Because it's going to be all about that feeling within yourself. How do you reconnect with spirit? And then once you get to that place where you're seeing, I'm checking in right now and I'm seeing that I'm exhausted, I'm seeing that I'm overwhelmed, I'm seeing that I'm overstimulated, I'm seeing that I don't know if I can keep carrying this anymore, finish what needs to be done. Coming back into that place where you remember the beginning of this, remember the catalyst of that, and do that sense of reconnection as you've gotten very far from it. How do you bring yourself back? How do you plug back in to that endless source within you? And you will see that it can definitely trump anything else. Eight of Cups is coming out upside down. When Eight of Cups comes out upside down, what this can mean is that there was a walking away from something and then like a returning to it. So there could have been a leaving, I don't want this anymore, or something else is going to be better, and then the coming back and feeling like maybe I can actually find what I'm looking for here. Maybe this can actually be what I want. Maybe I don't really want to leave. It's kind of like the revolving door that happens. And that be what's taking place here. This feels like from a place of maybe something painful happening, potentially stepping away only to return. Saying that because I'm seeing Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So yeah, this could have been more of a, I'm reacting to something right now and could have been beginning to exit, and then as things are, the way that I'm seeing this energetically with the Three of Swords, it feels like when something's going on with your stomach and you take something to create an alkaline within your stomach. And that's what it feels like with the energy. Like something was going on that was out of balance, and then now something is coming through and it's sort of neutralizing that. Hi, baby. And as that neutralizing is happening, it feels like that's when this sort of like returning is taking place. I'm getting confirmation of this. I was just like maybe even running away before because I was feeling so hurt. And now that this is being neutralized, I'm seeing that like I didn't really want, like my soul didn't really want to run away. It was my ego that wanted to leave this because I was feeling hurt, and that's what I was doing to protect myself. And so now there can be this returning that's happening. I'm even getting something that when you were feeling in the Three of Swords, you could have convinced yourself was like a totally empty situation for you. And now that I'm seeing this Eight of Cups reversed, it looks like being filled back up by something. So going from feeling empty and like, why would I stay here, to then in the return feeling like that sense of connection, like it all returns back to you again. And now that the grounding is happening, I'm seeing there be a readiness. I'm seeing there be a readiness. I'm definitely seeing there be a return here. Hi. So that's what I'm seeing be taking place. When this return is going on, having the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups, this feels like somebody rushing through. Let's say that this is your energy, you rushing through with something to say, you ready to do something, to take action. This feels like on the communication front or making some type of gesture. Because we have Knight of Cups and Knight of Swords, and I see both of these energies are as being more communicative of this is what I'm feeling and what's going on, and this is the move that I want to make. And then when we have the Knight of Swords there, generally it can indicate that there's action that's being taken, and there can definitely be communication that's part of that. Or it can just be I'm ready to go back in there, and like mentally I have understood within myself that this is where I want to be and what I want to be focusing on, and this is what I want to bring my attention to, and that's what's going on within my heart, and that's how I'm feeling. And before I was feeling overwhelmed and I wasn't really sure what to do or how to move, and now I'm feeling the return of that sense of connection and the feeling, even feeling renewed now, and that being what's going on here. And this all feeling like it's worth it. This is not the type of, this isn't like you have been feeling disconnected the entire time, and now you're going back into a situation where it's going to be more of that. This is you returning to something that you actually know within your heart that you do want it. Having Page of Wands and having Nine of Cups here. So the only reason I'm saying this is just to clarify like what's really being communicated in this reading, so there's not confusion, like to make this as specific as possible. This isn't one of those situations where you've really checked in. This is not one of those situations where you have really checked in and you decided this doesn't align with my values. I'm not going to feel happy with this. This isn't sort of what I need. This doesn't meet my standards, and I'm stepping away from this because I know that if things stay like this, I'm not going to be satisfied here, and I want to really find what I'm going to connect with. That's not the, and then I'm returning just because maybe I'm scared I'm not going to find what I need, or I've convinced myself I made a mistake. That's not the type of returning I'm seeing. I'm seeing more so like things for the most part are actually good here within this situation, and it actually is what you want and where you want to be. Something difficult has happened, and it does look like something painful occurred, and in that moment of something painful happening, the ego being like, let's get out of here, even though you could have felt for the most part like when you're aligned with this and when your ego is not triggered, that you're happy to be there within it. So you got her, and very much in that moment your ego being like, let's get out of here, and then like running away from it or moving away or disengaging or whatever it was that you were doing, and being like, I'm not going to return to this. And then as that feeling is subsiding, like as that wounding is not so like palpable, like as it's being neutralized, that sort of coming back into a place of being centered and being like, I just walked away from that. Like, what was I doing? Like, that was just a big reaction of mine. And then coming back because you know that this is actually, like, you are connected to this genuinely. So this isn't, I'm going back into a situation just to feel unsatisfied and unfulfilled again. This is like, I'm happy within this for the most part, or like, this is really where I want to be. And this is something that I do know does align with me. And I moved away from something because I was feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated. I was feeling hurt. And in that moment of that being neutralized, I had a different perspective, and I realized I didn't really want to leave. I was just feeling hurt, and that was my response. That's what I did for my own self-preservation. But I don't really not want to do this anymore. I don't really want to walk away from this. This is where I want to be. So that's what I'm seeing be more so the narrative here within the reading energetically. And I feel too, like when you go back into this, the reason why there is that Nine of Swords there, it feels like it's associated with like what happens and the vulnerability of being connected with something, and how when you're vulnerable, like the things that can happen, the possibilities of that. Of being happy, of feeling happy, of feeling hurt, of all of the different things when you are, when you are open and connected. I'll be with you in just a moment. So that's what I'm seeing be the vibe within the reading. And it ends with, I think, making a move that can feel a little bit you can feel like there's a lot behind what you're doing here within the move that's being made. Simultaneously, you can feel like now that you're in a grounded space, you know where to go, and that feels clear to you. It's not so much a question anymore. There's not this still trying to figure out. It feels like with this Four of Swords, it indicates a clarity that comes with you knowing what to do, where to focus your energy, what to do with this. I'm not seeing there be any like I'm not grounded enough yet, or I still haven't figured this out, or I don't know. This feels like you're in tune, you're in touch, and you know what to do, even if, regardless of the implications of that, you just know what to do now, because I'm seeing you be centered. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.